lots of students, they are very passionate on AI. So do you have any suggestions for them? Which knowledge are required for those undergraduate students?
Undergraduates, okay.
Yeah.
So, well, first of all, I think that it's too late. I think you have to start much earlier. I would start with children who are 3 or 4 years old. Maybe start with a basic or something.
Okay.
No, but the idea to learn how to program, just the elementary skills that you need to your internal model of what a program is, but also to understand something about information. Mm-hmm. And this is something that very, very few people in the public understand. Probability. What's the probability that some event is going to happen, and how are probabilities combined? And these are things that are incredibly important when you're scaling things up, and you want to know, so let's take self-driving cars, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's suppose that your program is really good. It only makes a mistake once every 100,000 times in identifying something in the road, right?
Yeah.
Well, is that going to kill you? I mean, if you identify something that you don't know, which turns out to be a bag that's floating through, maybe it doesn't matter. Yeah. But if that turns out to be somebody with an umbrella, wow, that could be a big mistake. So you have to understand these probabilities and what the consequences are. Mm-hmm. So I think you have to have some basic math, probability and statistics, basic understanding of how the world is organized in terms of uncertainty. Mm-hmm. So one of the reasons why the traditional AI failed was that they thought the world was black and white. Yeah. It was logical, that yes, no. That's not the world I live in. The world is filled with these shades of gray and uncertainties. You're combining information from many different sources, and yes, you do have to make a decision, but you have to do it probabilistically, and that's what deep learning is all about: taking in many sources of information, and your brain is doing that, and you aren't even aware this is happening, but you're taking in information. And you're combining it, and then some part of your brain that you're not aware of is making some decision that I'm going to turn right, I'm going to turn left, or I want to go someplace to hear a lecture, right? That's a decision. And we know now a lot about how the brain is organized, so we know how that happens in your brain. In particular, is the reward system, the dopamine neurons. AlphaGo, that was an AI program which was deep learning. It actually combined with a model of the dopamine neurons. It's called reinforcement learning in order to beat Keji, the world Go champion. Yeah. So this is where we're learning. As we learn more about the brain, we can actually incorporate that into the next generation AI program.
So do you encourage the students in their computer science to learn some neuroscience courses?
Well, I don't have to encourage them because they're coming and taking my course. I teach an undergraduate course in computational neurobiology, and we get a lot of people from computer science, but also from cognitive science, bioengineering.
Yeah.
This is a field that attracts people from all over. It's physics, math.
Yeah, maybe. Game theory, something like that.
Right. Yeah. Game theory, and it's really I think a turning point in human history.
Yeah.
Because not only will we be able to build devices in our image, but we'll be able to understand ourselves.
This wave of AI, there are major algorithms like GAN you just mentioned this morning is inspired by the game theory, and the CNN convolutional neural network are inspired by the visual cortex, right?
Right.
So do you see any further potential area of the brain can be inspired some new breakthrough of AI algorithms?
There are hundreds of brain areas where there are algorithms, learning algorithms, control algorithms that haven't even been touched. Like, I'll give you an example. Have you ever heard of the superior colliculus? Superior colliculus was the visual system and the auditory system
Okay.
and the somatosensory system for vertebrates before mammals. In terms of evolution, the frogs came, and then the lizards, snakes. And then when the mammals appeared, they had this new cerebral cortex, the neocortex. But animals before that had to do everything for survival with their superior colliculus. It's a very basic part of your brain.
Yeah.
For example, if I want to look at something, right, I suddenly got her attention, and I'm going to look at you. That's the superior colliculus that tells me I should look at you. Directs my attention to you. Or if there's something moving over here, I will suddenly look up at the thing that's moving.
Okay.
These are automatic reflexes, but they're extremely important for survival.
Okay.
And they're very important, for example, if you want to understand how someone looks at a web page.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, where do you place the ad? And how do you direct people's attention? All of this is how the brain works. And as we learn more from neuroscience about all these different parts of the brain, not just the superior colliculus, but there's also an inferior colliculus. Right?
Yeah.
And by the way, it has nothing to do with whether it's good or bad. It has to do with whether it's above or below.
Okay, so
in the brain.
There are still lots of opportunities.
This is a golden age, because this is the age in neuroscience when we're making brain discoveries that go way beyond what we could in the past, because the tools and techniques are much, much better. But at the same time that neuroscience is making these wonderful discoveries, AI has really reached a point where it can help neuroscience. That is to say, we can use deep learning and other machine learning algorithms to help analyze neural data, recordings from neurons. And deep learning is being used to do reconstructions, to create wiring diagrams for how the different neurons in the cortex are connected. And that couldn't have been done by hand. It was very labor intensive, but now we have these powerful new learning algorithms that they can learn how to do that by taking serial sections from electron microscopy and following specific wires, axons, and dendrites and synapses. And this has really transformed all of anatomy in terms of how the neuroscientist deals with the circuitry in the brain. So this is, I think this is a wonderful time when the synergies between brain science on one hand and AI on the other hand can help each other.